Welcome to the session on nursing research. I hope all the students had given the feedback and reading the material which I have shared in the WhatsApp group, and some of you have asked the questions also from the unit regarding nursing research. I will cover those questions in this session. First, let us see what is nursing research and why it is important to study about the research. In today's world, research is an essential part of growth of any profession. Nursing research is a great importance because it helps the nurses to make sound decisions or evidence-based decision in the clinical setting about the administration and education of students. It helps to give evidence for the nursing care, which is clinically appropriate and effective, which helps to give need-based quality patient care and brings positive outcomes in the patient. So, from this only you can understand what is the importance. But let us little bit review about the history of nursing research. Nursing has been called the oldest of arts and the youngest of profession. Research in the nursing profession had not always been the prominence and enjoyed the importance. But today it is gaining importance because nursing is an independent profession which has its own body of knowledge and responsible for providing evidence-based care. Research in nursing began with Florence Nightingale with her landmark publication in 1859, that is Notes on Nursing. It describes her views in environmental factors that promote physical and emotional well-being. Her most widely known research contribution involved an analysis of factors affecting soldiers' mortality and morbidity during Crimean War. Most Indian studies in the early 1990s were basically concerned with nursing education only. Very few studies were available regarding the clinical area in the nursing. Even the Bohr committee submitted recommendation for improvement of nursing research and sending nurses to abroad for higher education, because that time in India higher education in nursing and PhD in nursing was not offered in any of the university. The first one from India who went to Columbia University to have doctoral in education under a WHO fellowship was Miss Buchanan. I think all of you must have read her book, one of the most beautiful book ever written by anyone. Then was Miss Margaret Craig, attended International Council of Nursing meet in France and present a paper on the need of nursing research in India. The first 2 years master degree program in nursing was started in New Delhi in R.A.K. College of Nursing, and most of the senior nursing professionals who were working in clinical, administration or education completed their masters, and later MPhil was also started in this college. Trained Nurses Association of India established research section under the guidance of Miss Margaret Craig and conducted first research on socio-economic status of nurses in India. Then the first national conference in India on nursing research titled Nursing Research in India Prospects and Retrospective was conducted, and nursing research workshop was sponsored by UGC and nursing research by the nursing teachers in the colleges. And Nursing Research Society of India was established to promote the nursing research. Then in various other universities, colleges, the PhD in nursing was started. TNAI also conducted various studies. Nursing Research Society also conducted various studies. Even in IGNOU, the PhD nursing was started. So you can see how the importance was given to the nursing research. So let us come to the definition of nursing research. Research is a systematic inquiry that uses method for answering questions or solving problems. This is a simple definition of nursing research. Importance: evidence for decision making can be generated from the research. It helps in expanding the body of knowledge. Helps in providing quality care, cost effective care to the patient. Take evidence-based decisions in the clinical area, nursing administration, and help in designing evidence-based curriculum and education system for the students and plan for the future research also. What are the sources of evidence? As per the literature, first is your tradition and authority. Tradition means whatever is being, when you go to the hospital, you must have seen all your senior nurses, some of them are doing the procedures for years and years same way. And when you ask them why it is being done like that, they said our seniors were doing like this. So that is a tradition, how traditionally some of the things are being done. That is one source of evidence. Authority: a person is specialized, experience, judgment. They take decisions and it is being accepted by others. Then clinical experience of the person. Over the years when person is working, they can predict some of the things. But if the experience is less, sometimes it is being said prediction cannot be correct. Then trial and error method is another source, because their alternatives are there and all alternatives are being tested and then evidence is being produced. Then thinking, that is logical thinking, inductive reasoning and deductive thinking. Inductive reasoning means develop the evidence from generalizations. It develops generalization from specific observation. I will give you example. Nurse may observe that anxious behavior of the children in the hospital. It is a general statement, but it can be concluded that all the children who are separated from the parents and who are alone will have stress in the hospital. And deductive reasoning is developing specific predictions from generalization. That means, for example, separation anxiety can be seen in hospitalized child. This is a specific prediction, which means that child in the hospital whose parents are not there will have stress. That is, every child whose parents are not there will have a stress. So what are the purposes of nursing research? Mainly description, explanation, exploration and prediction. That means it is to answer the questions, to solve the problem, increase the knowledge and to improve theories or give a new theory, that is a basic research, find answers to existing problems or searching evidence, that is applied research. Description is study phenomena about which very little is known. It is studied in depth and answers to a questions are being found or some new phenomena is being studied, like in the COVID virus. 19, this is a new phenomena. It is a descriptive studies are being done by the epidemiologist. Exploration. Researchers have interest in studying some phenomena and study them in detail that specify phenomena and factors related to it. That is pre-operative stress and percentage of patient having the stress and what are the factors associated with it. Explanation. Interrelationship between the phenomena are studied. Underlying causes are being studied. What are the underlying causes? Prediction is done by the researchers here. For example, incidence of Down syndrome in infant increases with the age of the mother. That is, when a woman above 40 years give birth, is pregnant or give birth to a child is at high risk, and child having a Down syndrome may be born. So that is a prediction. So now what are the ethical considerations by doing a research? Research is a scientific systemic process. So ethical considerations are very important to take into consideration. ICMR guidelines, which gives our ethical guidelines, which are known as National Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical and Health Research involving human participants. I will share this document in the group with you. You can go in detail if you are interested. They have given 12 principles and some of the ethical issues. So I will just tell you in brief what are those principles. View existing knowledge. The use of human participant is considered. Is there any need for that research? It has to be taken into consideration. So who will take all these decisions? That is the institutional ethical committee. They will see, is there a need? Is this research is essential in today's date, or already research is being done in that area? Principle of volunteers. Respect for the right of the participant to agree or not to agree to participate in the research or to withdraw in between any time. No one can force any participant to participate in the research. Therefore, informed consent has to be filled by the participant with all these terms, because all the participants have the right to take decision. Principle of non-exploitation. Research participants are selected so that benefit and burden of the research can be shared by all without any discrimination. Safeguard the interest of the vulnerable groups. It's not that people who are vulnerable in any form are being included only because it is easy to convince them to take part in the research. Principle of social responsibility. Research is planned and conducted to avoid there should not be any social division due to this research, that some people in the society are getting the benefit, some people are not getting, or some people are the participant because they are vulnerable, and other who can escape not to be the participant are not being involved, because some of the research have some clinical trials, there can be some harm also. Principles of ensuring privacy and confidentiality. Maintain privacy of participants. Their identification records are kept in confidentiality, except you can show this records only in case there is any legal issues are there or the patient's condition is very serious for the treatment. That also with the approval of the IEC and the other authorities. Principle of risk minimization. Due care to be taken at all stages of research to ensure that your participants are at minimum risk, and care and compensation is given to them in case there is any harm to the patient. Principle of professional competence. Research is planned, coordinated, evaluated and monitored by a competent person with relevant experience, qualification and training. Principle of maximizing benefit. Care should be taken that to design and conduct the research that has maximum benefit to community and a society as a whole. Principle of institutional arrangement. Where the research is being conducted or the institution which gives permission for the research have enough infrastructure, manpower, funds and training opportunities to conduct this research. Principle of transparency and accountability, that is, research planned and conducted are in public domain through publications. Mention the conflict of interest, I will tell you little later. Research conducted is fair and transparent. Then principle of environmental protection, and there are some general ethical issues also which are associated with these research aspects. One is benefit risk assessment. That means, already I have told you, benefit should be to individual, community and society as a whole in all the sectors of the people. All the people who are living in the society should have the benefit. Risk, that is probability of causing the discomfort or harm, physical, psychological, social or economical, should be minimized. Maximize the benefit and minimize the risk. This your ethical committee has to see and do a continuous review of the research at every step. Then informed consent, second ethical issue. Ethical committee always see that your informed consent is filled up in detail in the language what your patient or participant can understand. It protects the participant autonomy to participate in the research, or they can refuse or they can withdraw at any time. It provides a complete relevant information regarding the research, ensure information is comprehended and assuring voluntary participation, and information is in a language what a participant can understand. Then privacy and confidentiality of the information of the participant. Privacy of information collected from participant and confidentiality to safeguard the information from unauthorized access, disclosures, modification, theft and data are kept in a security. It's your laptop or your hard data which has to be secured. Then distribute the justice. Already I have told you, whatever the benefits are, it is equally distributed to all groups of the people in the society. Even taking care the vulnerable group also get the benefit. Payment for participation. In our country, very few people give payment for the participation in the research. In the abroad, it is mandatory to give. But now even ICMR guidelines say you have to pay for their travel, inconvenience occurred, time, food, loss of wages, whatever the losses are there, a researcher has to pay. Compensation for research related harm. In case there is any harm to side effect due to some research during process, the compensation has to be given by the researcher. And in case patient has any comorbid disease or develop some disease, the free treatment has to be provided by the researcher. Then conflict of interest, that is what interest the researcher has. It is a financial, maybe getting some grant from somewhere, non-financial interest they have, personal interest, academic interest. So So this ethical committee has to see what is the conflict of interest of the researcher in that particular research. Selection of the vulnerable on the special group for the studies. The vulnerable and the special groups are small children, patient with clinical condition, students, socially disadvantaged people, elderly, women. It is very important to see that proper informed consent, explanation, their voluntary participation consent is taken, because these groups mainly should be taken into consideration if that study actually will benefit them in the future. Then IEC, again ethical committee, has to see all these things. Post research benefit should be shared with the community. So you can see there are so many ethical considerations when we do a study. So keep all these things in mind. Two types of research are qualitative and the quantitative. I will just briefly tell you the difference. I have shared one material also, you can go through it. Quantitative is some figures you will get. Qualitative is some narratives, some models, some pictures you will get. Some detailed descriptions will be there. So quantitative is, it tests the hypothesis, look into cause and effect relationship. Sample is large, randomly selected. I will tell you some of the things. Then it is structured. A tool, that is your questionnaire or interview, is structured. No open questions are there. Very few sometimes will be there. Your tool will be validated, sometimes even standardized. Then statistical relationships will be identified. The findings can be generalized, which basically the type of research will be describing something, explaining something and predicting something. Then qualitative will be to understand interpret the social interactions. Group will be small, which can be sometimes selected randomly. Data will be in the form of objects, narrative, images, words, sentences. Open-ended questions will be there. In-depth interview and observation, participatory observation will be conducted by the researcher. Field notes will be there, which has to be analyzed later. Then sometimes it is an exploratory nature, which can generate new hypotheses and new questions can be arised from this study. Study of behavior and environments are being conducted through these studies. Research process. There are mainly 3 steps: planning, implementation, report writing and communication. In planning, first step is conceptualizing. How you will conceptualize your research problem? You will first do a detailed review of the literature, shortlist some of the areas which need research. You will read some of the old theses, journals, literature on the net and various other documents, reports, whatever you want to in the area, whatever you get the literature. You will maybe you shortlist 3 or 4 topics, then you shortlist one topic. Once you shortlist, you will write a statement of problem. What is the statement of problem of your study? Then you will write the objectives of the study. You will define the terms, means what terms you are using in your study, what is the meaning of the term. What do you mean by child? What do you mean by stress? What do you mean by anxiety? Not dictionary meaning, but what do you mean in your study? That is operational definition of terms. Then again you will review the literature. You will see what are the related studies as per your study and you will make summary of those studies to give justification to do the study. Then you will find out what conceptual framework you will adopt, some conceptual framework, or you will make your own conceptual framework for the study. You will write assumptions, variables, hypothesis and research questions. What is assumption? Assumption is, to begin with, certain things the researcher decides that they have sufficient, well demonstrated by other studies, are systematically observed to be true. These the researcher believes, assumes that they are true, are called assumptions. Variables are the characteristics or attributes or phenomena under study are called variables. Independent variable and dependent variable, and some there are extraneous variable. Then there are operational definitions. Already I have told you there are the terms which you have to define, which are under your study. Hypothesis. Hypothesis is a statement or a declaration of the expected outcome of a research. It is also known as hunch that the researcher is proposing for the research. So, there can be a directional or hypothesis, or there can be research hypothesis or null hypothesis. There are delimitations and limitations of the study. So all these things you can go through one of the thesis so that you can understand these terms very nicely. Then after conceptual framework, there will be a research design, research approach, historical, descriptive, experimental research, which research approach you are using. Then you will plan for the data collection. Proposal will be finalized. What will be your tool, observation checklist, interview checklist, who will do, how you will collect, it will be through mail or it will be through post, or you will go yourself or you will train someone. Then what is the population? Maybe you want to study the knowledge of the staff nurses working in hospitals about the COVID-19. So your population will be staff nurses in the hospital, but you cannot study all the staff nurses. So you will select sample. Sample will be selected convenience, whosoever is available. Purposeful, maybe you will go to medical surgical ward, purposefully you are selecting all the nurses there, or you will select randomly, that you will make a list and every fourth nurse you will take, or convenient can be, purposive can be, only morning shift nurses you will take. So sampling, sample and sampling you have to do. Then after you had made all the tools, sample is selected, your setting, maybe you want to study in 2 or 3 hospital in the Delhi or in your state, maybe the AIIMS, Safdarjung Hospital and RML Hospital. So what you will do, you will conduct one pilot study, not in the hospital where you are going to conduct your main study. You will conduct pilot study in the, maybe in the Lady Hardinge Hospital, where it will not be a part of your study. Pilot study is conducting like a mini study to see that whatever tools you have made are actually feasible to implement. Your participants can understand what data are they able to complete the questionnaire, or interview questions are correct, or the language is okay, it's not very long, everything, content, language, the time, how much they have taken, the it is meaning is clear, everything is done in the pilot study. Then in the pilot study, if major variations are there, you correct all those things, then you keep ready your things for the main study. Then after that, you will, in the beginning only, you will plan how you will collect your data, how you will compile, what statistics you will use it. Then second stage, when all this planning is being done, then you will implement your research, you will go to the hospitals, take proper approvals, permissions, and even before conducting this, you will take your proposal has to be passed by your ethical committee, because the human beings are being involved in the study. So when you implement your study, you will collect the data using all your tools, and then you will come back, compile it, analyze it, and interpret and write your all the findings. Now comes the report writing and communication. It has to be done very carefully. So from the beginning only, make your plan very foolproof, that whatever you are collecting, how you will compile, how you will write your chapters of your report. Then start writing, follow the format which is being given by your institution or from where you are doing a research. Then after writing, it will be approved. Then you will present in conference in your institution, and never get angry when someone criticize your or critically analyze your study, because critical analysis, even your synopsis, even your proposal can, when you present it, can be critically analyzed. More it is being critically analyzed, your study become good, because people are asking you question to improve it, not to find the faults. So even your presentation, your final findings can be critically analyzed, then you can publish it, and if possible, rather you should try to apply all the recommendations what you have proposed under your study. So in this way, these are the steps of the research what any researcher will follow. You will see in your unit they have given in brief about the research process. You can go through that, and in case still you have any question, you can ask me. Just before I complete, I will tell you literature review. Nowadays you can do online, or you can go to National Medical Library, and you can go to various library and see the journals, and you will get a related literature. Because unless you do a good related research from various good sites and actually do a in-depth study, because there is no topic where research is not being done. If you want to do a good study, spend time in doing a literature review, planning for your study, and finalizing your problem. Take a small study in your own ward, what you do in the daily basis. Try to do a small research, or 2 or 3 of you can make a group and may do a research. Then try to present it and publish it in some journal. Try 2-3 small studies. You will gain confidence in doing a research. Then you are sitting in a hub of the clinical research area. Nowadays, clinical research is the crux of your evidence. No evidence can be longer than 5 to 10 years. Sometimes it is not even 5 years. The things have changed. Even the way you give care to the mother, newborn, many procedures have changed. So you can see with the evidence is being produced, the processes giving care, doing procedures have changed. So nursing research is a very essential component of any profession, because it improves the knowledge and image of the profession and increase the status of that profession. I hope this topic is clear to you, and in case still you have questions, you can send me in the WhatsApp group. This was our last session on the DNA BNS 012. We have completed BNS 011 and 012, all the theory component. Still we have a WhatsApp group, Google Classroom, and if you have any question in future also, you can send. Before leaving, please give your feedback. Thank you.